Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today on the last day of February. Bit of a freaky day to be doing our webinar. I won't turn up for another little while. But yeah, thanks very much for taking the time and coming to explore with us really what is business development and how can Monday Sales CRM help you do business development the way that you want to do it and not the way that maybe you've had to do it in the past. So what we'll cover today, starting off, we'll go through some of the common challenges and a bit of a kind of overview of what we consider business development to be. We'll talk a little bit about the Monday CRM. Kerry is then going to take us through a really exciting demo today where we get a bit more of a view of practically how that's going to work. And then we'll cover off any next steps in case you want to get in touch with your account managers or you've got any questions for us. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. We do have a question and answer panel where you can record your questions today. If we've got time at the end of it, we may try and take some of them live. Otherwise, what we'll do is we'll take the written notes from any of the questions that come in and we'll get in touch with you via your associated account managers or account reps, and we'll organize to answer those questions for you. So we'll first of all meet your host. So I'm Max. I am a CRM consultant. Give you a little bit of my background. I've spent the last 2.5 years before joining Monday at Salesforce in the lower enterprise and mid-market space. So got a fair bit of experience across CRMs in many different industries and specifically around business development, whether it's for commercial, non-for-profit or local government, talking to how we can engage with stakeholders or customers and really build new business opportunities for us to go after. Kerry?
Hi, everyone. My name's Kerry Ann. Lovely to meet you all. So I'm a solution engineer here at monday.com. I've previously worked for the likes of Oracle in implementation, so that is my background, and I've recently come across. And yes, so now I am specializing in CRM and I'm excited today to show you our business development workflow.
Cool. Thanks, Kerry. All right. So I think before we jump into the common challenges of the CRM space, especially around business development, it's good to sort of define and scope out what we mean when we talk about business development. Business development can sometimes be a bit of a dirty word. It's something that maybe a lot of people don't like to do. But really, it should be something that's very exciting for the business, because it should be looking for either areas where we win, where we play really well, where we're successful or have had success in the past, or it should be looking for new opportunities, logical adjacencies where we can find new ways of engaging with either existing customers or current customers or new customers. So really a way for us to kind of, like it says in the name, develop our business into something new. So what are the common challenges that we see when we're talking to our customers about, their business development plans and their goals? And often these are associated with things like we want to onboard a certain amount of new clients, or we need to hit a certain sales target, or we need to get a certain amount of pipeline opportunity, MQLs, SQLs. You will have heard all of these different KPIs if they're associated with your role. But the number one challenge we see across all of these is siloed data and systems. And generally, this is built around disparate ways of working and disparate information centers across the business. And what does this lead to? It really results in a loss of visibility across the entire business and across that sales process and that business development process. And that kind of leads into point number 2, which is the second most common, which is a misalignment between sales and marketing. I don't know how many times you talk to a salesperson and they say, I don't know what marketing's doing. When are they talking to my customers? What message are they sending? Or, how hard it is for marketing people to be able to actually see the ROI from the campaigns that they're running. How many MQLs are they producing? Of those MQLs, how many of them are turning into sales qualified leads and then tracking all the way through the sales process to one? So just to backtrack, an MQL being a marketing qualified lead. So I think it's really important that when we got an alignment between sales and marketing, we have a business that's really humming together and finding new ways of working. The third is manual effort. And this is probably the reason most people actually hate business development, is because it's a lot of work and it ends up with a lot of rejections. You don't know how many times we talk to a customer and they say, we're wasting hours a week doing all of this manual work, and it's leading to loss of money. It's leading to a loss of time. My employee satisfaction is down the drain. if we can use business logic and statistics to identify areas where we're going to be successful and create really effective operational systems within the business, the manual effort goes away, and then the satisfaction comes up, we get the time back, and the money is a great result of that. Now, finally, the fourth one is human error. Now, this can be anything from entry and errors in data entry or management of data, or just the problems with human memory. This causes a loss of trust with the stakeholders or the customers that we're talking to. And these are really expensive errors long-term, because once you lose that trust, it's really hard to win it back. They say that trust is won in drips and drabs and lost in buckets. So we want to make sure that if we're winning it, we're holding it. So what really makes this Monday CRM stand out from the other CRMs in the market? Well, it's really easy and intuitive to use. And I think there's a statistic that says that of the Monday users on the platform, almost 70% of them are non-technical users. It's flexible and customizable to your business process. As I mentioned, you might be a non-for-profit, you might be a traditional commercial business, you might be running a procurement team, but we're going to be able to be flexible to whatever it is that you're doing. We really want to enable and encourage cross-team collaboration, and we want to do that all in one platform. And those two really go hand in hand. You don't want to have to be switching between platforms in order to communicate with your team. You want to be doing it in one place. And what that leads to is really good data being put into the system, and then amazing reporting long-term. And that reporting means that you can make business decisions that drive your business in the right directions, all from the insights gathered out of your CRM. And finally, it's the time to value. You know, it does not take the kind of classic 6 to 9 months to roll out a Monday CRM for business development. I would be expecting something under 2 months, and it's a really fast learning curve for users to bring this up. So something that's also really important to imagine is that not all business development could be done behind a computer. Sometimes we've got to do it out on the road. Sometimes we've got to be mobile. And you know, there's a great statistic on the screen at the moment from Finances Online that shows that 45% of companies with mobile CRMs achieved their sales quotas, as opposed to 22% that were able to without the mobile. So if we're having a look at what the mobile app needs to be able to do, it really needs to be able to translate the experience of the user on the laptop into that on the mobile experience. So it should be easy to use, vertically aligned, optimized to be used on the road, but it should also have that same level of automation. If I make a call, give me a call summary reminder so that I can put things in. Allow me to use templates so that I can follow up with people. Allow me to send emails the way that I'm used to being able to send them. So this is the mobile application that is really going to help drive business development, not just from within the office, but also out on the road as well. And with that, that's the end of the Death by PowerPoint. And I'm going to hand over to Kerry to run us through the demo of how to do business development on the Monday platform.
Okay, thanks so much, Max. All right, so when we think about business development, this is how our account managers or our sales teams, they're working with and they're engaging the contacts and the accounts that we already have. So as opposed to the way we normally think about a traditional CRM, where we think about inbound leads coming through, this is how we're performing our outbound reach. So today, this is what we're going to cover. So we're going to look at our outbound lead generation and how do we do that within the Monday platform. So we can do this through using our mass emailing functionality. Then from there, we want to be able to look at the analytics of those campaigns that we're running, our outreach that we're doing, or if we're sharing case studies as well, potentially with our clients, right? So we want to see whether our clients are actually opening up those emails, right? What are the click rates? Is our campaign successful? Then from there, what we want to be able to do is redirect that business back through to us, right? And so how do we do that? We do that through the use of a Monday form. So once the form is filled in, if it generates interest with our clients, and the answer is yes, then they come through as an incoming lead. And then from there, of course, we go through our normal processes and we qualify the leads, and then they become opportunities. So that's what we'll be covering today. And now let's jump back into the platform. Okay, so in Monday, what does this look like? Now, some of you may have seen what our enterprise CRM product looks like, but here on the left-hand side, I've changed up the narrative a little bit. So first of all, here we have our contacts database, right? Pretty straightforward, as you can see. I've got all of my contacts listed, the accounts that they're attached to, and all of their different details, such as their title, role, phone, email, etc. Right? But how do I actually work with this? And how do I actually target specific people? Now, as you can see here, I've got a column that's defining the sector, right? You might also be looking at things like industry as well, okay? Now, in terms of how to work with this, what we can do is go ahead and create dynamic lists within the platform. And it's super easy to do that by using the group by function that we have up the top here. So once I click group by, it allows me to select a specific column that I want to group by. So in this case, it's going to be the sector. Okay, and you can see it immediately splits up everybody into their respective groups, dependent on the sector that they belong to. Now, you don't have to just do this by sectors. As I mentioned, you may have industries, you may have specific segmentation for your business, which you'd like to use for your outbound reach. Now, as an example, what I'm going to do today, let's say I want to target those that are in sector 1. I've got a case study that I'd like to share with them because I want to tell them about the new Monday Sales CRM. Okay, and how it could be good for their business. So in this case, what I'm going to do is select all of my contacts within sector 1. Here, immediately, my mass emailing function appears. So I will click on that, okay? And so see, mass emailing, what it allows us to do is to send out one email to all of these recipients, right? So they will receive an individual email, but we can do it within one click of a button, right? And each of these recipients as well, once they receive the individual emails, they won't see that it's been sent to other people. So it'll look like it's come directly from you. Here as well, you have the ability to set up an email template just to make this faster for you. And of course, not having to go through that manual process. Okay, I've already gone through and set up a template. Otherwise, here as well, this is where you can select those options. But I'm going to take it one step further. So first of all, you will see here as well that I have some in brackets, well, as you can see. So I'm actually pulling dynamic fields from my board, right? And this is so that each email can be tailored to the specific recipient. So in this case, I'm looking at pulling the name field from the board, as well as the sector that they belong to, okay? And again, I'm going to take it even further by using our HTML editing functionality to be able to to jazz up my email, right? We want it to be attractive when the email is sent out to our clients, right? We want them to be able to open the email and go, yes, I'm interested. I want to do business with you. So how do we do that? When I go into the HTML editor, this is what it looks like. Many of you have worked with HTML, so of course you can go through and format it. I have an example of what this looks like. So I'm just going to replace all of this with something I prepared earlier. Okay, and there we go, right? As you can see, I've bolded some text here and as well as added an image. Now, what's really important is when you are working with the HTML editor, you want to be able to preview what it will look like on both your desktop and both your mobile. Because as we know, people are on the go, clients are on the go, right? So they're not always looking at their emails on their screens. They might also be looking at it at a mobile, right? So here you can see I can see what it looks like on the desktop, but otherwise I want to see what it looks like on the mobile as well, right? Perfect. And if I scroll further down, so you can see here that my image is a little bit skewed. So I may want to actually make it smaller to fit within these guidelines. Okay, so now I can click save, right? Wonderful. So it's saved that information for me. And now I can actually go through and send this email out to my clients. Now, as you can see up the top here, it's actually pulling the email from the email column on the contacts board. So as long as you have this set up, it will automatically identify that for you. If not, you'll actually have to go in and fill in this information before the mass emailing will work. Okay, now once I'm ready, I'm happy with my email, I can click send as well, right? And then of course it will go through and send out this email to these relevant contacts. All right, so what do we do from here? We don't just want to sit here and twiddle our thumbs. We want to actually check that the email has been successfully sent out to our clients as well. And what I have done and what you would have seen in the email is that I put a link to a form to redirect their business back to us. Okay. So the form looks a little bit something like this, right? So this is one of our online forms that we have, and it's built based upon the information that is on my board. So the board that I'm referring to here is my business development board. This is where I'm going to actually capture those leads that are coming back through to the platform, okay? And all of these questions that you see here are actually based upon the fields on the board itself. Now, if you've worked with our online forms, you would know as well, we have the ability to customize all of our fields. So here, if I'd like to change the information that we see here, I can. I can also make all of the questions mandatory if I want to as well. Now, this ensures a level of standardization with the information that's coming through for our leads. So we're ensuring that we're receiving quality leads, and we're not having to deal with those leads that are not relevant to the business. Now, I've gone through and pre-filled this form just to make it a little bit quicker. But as you can see, I've got my name, company, manager, the title, the role, email, phone, and so on. Okay. And once I click submit, what is going to happen is, of course, this information is going to be generated directly back onto my board. So here we go. Okay. Amazing. So under business development, you can see here clearly Mickey Johnson has been created automatically. Now, in terms of capturing leads, that's not the only way to do it through an online form. Another way that I'd like to show you is through what we call quick item creation. So we understand as well that our reps, they're on the go. They're talking to leads, right? Whether it be in person, whether it be over Zoom, right? And they want to capture that information quickly and be able to enter it in. So how do they do that? By clicking on new lead, okay? Okay, give me one moment, actually. I'll just refresh my page. Let's try that once more. Okay, this is better. Right, so through the quick item creation, similar to the way that our online form works, right? This is what we call an internal form. And this as well ensures a level of standardization, because it means that as well, our sales reps who are going out and talking to these leads are making sure that they're providing quality information to work with our leads as well, okay? So I won't go through and fill this in right now. Now, what happens when a lead comes through to the board itself? First of all, we have a few indications to show us the quality of the lead, right? Now, in this case as well, I want to be able to know, since I've created a campaign and I've sent out this case study to those clients, I want to be able to target existing contacts and existing accounts. So how do I know that when the lead fills in that information and it comes through to the board, that this is the case? I can clearly see this through this indication here. So you can see I have a few leads, right? Some are existing accounts, some are existing contacts, and then the one for Mickey is an existing contact and account, which is exactly what I want. Now, this is based off of certain factors, such as the company that they fill in, as well as the email they provide, right? And based upon the information that we already have in our database, this indication will be generated. So that's our first port of call. Then the second thing we want to be able to look at is the lead score that has been generated as well. So here with the lead score, this can be dependent on certain components that you set up within the account. At the moment, I've got it based upon the title, right? And the role of the specific person. And then as well as whether they're existing contact and account in the business, okay? So as you can see, for my sales reps, I'd prefer them to want to focus on someone like Heidi, because you can see the lead score is higher. For Mickey, yes, Mickey is important too. We still want to reach out to Mickey, but as you can see, maybe we may not have as much success with Mickey because Mickey is not a decision maker in the business. Okay. So now how do we work with our lead, right? So we've decided that we're going to go ahead with Mickey and we're actually going to reach out to them. Now, of course, we can go through our process that we have here, right? And that your businesses will have too. But what I want to show you is our 360 item card view. Okay, so once that loads. So here we can have a 360 overview of everything we need when it comes to working with the lead. So up the top here, you can see all of the different lead stages. And again, all of this information that you see here can be customized dependent on your processes. Now, you may not go through each of these stages here, so we can just change that information. But here, what you can see is currently, I know that Mickey is a new lead, right? Once I contact Mickey, then of course I can go through and move to the next stage. And as soon as I click on attempted to contact, you can see this immediately updates. And back on the board itself, you'll see that the status will have changed to attempted to contact. On the left-hand side here, I can see my emails and activities app, which I'll go through shortly. I've also got all the contact information about Mickey, right? So this is based upon all the information that's been provided. If I scroll down, I can also see company information, as well as any account information connected to Mickey too. Now, in terms of emails and activities, this works similar to that mass emailing functionality that I showed earlier, right? So again, I can keep all of my email correspondence with Mickey directly in this area and attach to Mickey as he moves throughout the process. If I select new email, we can go through and send an email through to Mickey. But otherwise, more importantly, what I want to highlight is the activities. So here, any sort of activity that we have in regards to dealing with Mickey, we can record. And I know that this is super important for all of our reps and especially their managers to be able to see what it is they're actually working on and how many times we're interacting with our clients. So as an example, whenever I have a call with Mickey, I can record this here, okay? Right, so it immediately diverts to today's date and time, but of course I can change this information and I can write any notes about the call that I've had with Mickey. So had call with Mickey. Okay, and once I click add, not only does it actually create the activity here, but what it does is it captures this onto our activities board. So I'm going to jump across to the activities board itself. Okay, perfect. So you can see here, we've got a list of all of the account activities that have been created across all of our clients, right? And then the call that I've just had with Mickey has now been recorded here with all of the details, right? But if we actually look at this board, it's a little bit overwhelming to digest all of this information. So personally, as a rep or as a manager, how do I see all of the activities that my team has been working on? So if I go across to the activities report here, okay, this is one of our dashboards, right? So, and this is pulling the information from the activities board itself. So here we can see the number of activities for this month, all of the open activities, but more importantly, how many meetings have we had per client, right? And in terms of the reps that are working with each of these clients, how many activities has each rep done with each of these clients? And of course, we can drill down further into this information by actually clicking into here and seeing this as well. So this is super important in terms of visibility and also productivity over the month as well. Okay, so after we've recorded our activities, I'll just jump back to our business development board. We've gone through our process before as well. We could assign a rep, and then of course we qualify our lead. And then from there, once we qualify the lead, it then becomes created as an opportunity. But I'm going to stop here for today. Because that's everything I want to take you through with the business development workflow. And then tomorrow we will continue with the rest of the opportunities and how to create and structure those.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Kerry. What I might do as well is since we've got the last 5 minutes, might use this time to just quickly run you through a couple of the different thought leadership options we have from Monday in terms of what we might be able to do for you in the future around the emails functionality. So I'm going to share my screen here and I'm just going to pop back into the slides very quickly. So what you'll be able to see here is email sequences, and anybody from a marketing background or maybe even from a sales background might be familiar with this email sequences. The idea behind this being that we can create campaigns that engage with our customers on a number of automated triggers. So you can see on the right-hand side here, if we look through, we're going to create an email campaign. If it's answered, yes, then we're going to send an email meeting. If not, then we're going to wait 3 days and send a follow-up email. Now, this is a very simple campaign, but you can imagine how you could start to use this in a business development context. If someone is part of a certain industry and we create a white paper, maybe we want to create a campaign to see what the engagement with that white paper or that specific use case is. We're able to make this significantly more complex to suit whatever business requirement you have, but you can start to imagine how you can use this in a business development sense. This is going to roll into the mass email tracking. We will now have CRM sequence tracking, where you'll be able to, as a marketer or as a salesperson, track the ROI from specific campaigns. You'll also be able to add in different actions. So you'll be able to say, wait 3 days, make a call, or possibly connect on LinkedIn, schedule a meeting, or create a task. So all of these different actions will now be able to create an automated sequence of events for you to be able to engage with your customers and provide best practices across the team. Additionally, we now have calls and recording that will be coming live with Twilio. So you'll be able to do any of the calling that you need to do from a business development perspective out of the CRM, and you'll be able to listen to the recordings back through. If you want to integrate in here as well, you'll be able to see a number of other providers over the rest of the year as we go through it. But this is our MVP starting with Twilio. Finally, we'll be also looking at and have just released calendar integrations. So now you can integrate your calendar from your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar. And if you create a calendar event with a specific customer, that will automatically show up in the activities timeline so that you can check how many people attended it, what the meeting notes were, and that you don't have to go back in and log those specific integrations yourself. So this is a great way to, once again, reduce that manual overhead, automate the process as much as possible. And really, we're trying to bring the fun and the effectiveness of business development back. So finally, if there's any other questions that you have off the back of this, please feel free to reach out to your account manager or anybody else that you've talked to at Monday, and they can direct you to how to get in contact with us. Otherwise, if you go to our website, you can always fill in a contact sales form and get in touch with us that way. We'll be looking forward to speaking to you in the near future. And yeah, hopefully we'll be touching base very soon. Thank you very much.